Have you ever sat back and said, it must be nice, or it's easy for you to say? What would you accomplish with your health if you had the time to do things, the money to do things, the energy to do things, all these other things? What would you accomplish with your health? I'm Dr. Jeff Cumro, and over the past 15 years, I've been blessed to work with over 5,000 people, helping them optimize their brain function, their body function, and then supply the energy to those areas. So no matter what situation they're in, they can pull the information they need to get the result that they want. So imagine that. What would you do if you had all the time that you needed, all the money that you needed, all the resources that you needed, all the knowledge that you needed, all the people to do, the cooking and all of that stuff for you? What would your health be? Would it be different than what it is? And the question that I want you to ask yourself after this is, have you ever seen anybody who wins the lottery and then a few years later they're completely out of money? A lot of times it's easy to look at everybody else and say, it must be nice, to have all of the resources and do that. But we don't see the work that goes in to all of those things. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about fitness. You see somebody who's just jacked and you're like, it must be nice to have all the time in the world to go to the gym. It must be nice to have somebody do your cooking for you. It must be nice to do this. And the reality is they're still busting their tail. They have become that person that has that. And that's a mental change. They have the knowledge. They have all those other things because they put in the work. And yes, they might have had to work with professionals to get there. They might have had to work with a dietitian. They might have had to work with somebody that's going to teach them how to cook. They might have to work with somebody who's going to teach them how to shop. They might have to work with somebody who's going to teach them the exercises. But nobody can do those things for them. They're the ones that have to put in the work to actually do those things. We can look at other examples of this. We can look at somebody who is aging gracefully, right? And this is something that is difficult because there's so many things that go into this. It's the nutrition side of things, the sleep side of things, the stress side of things. They've become that person who is overcoming all of those things. And that's what I want you to look at your health as. It's not a destination, right? Excuse me. It's not a destination. We don't go from where we're currently at and then this is the end point. We go from where we're currently at and we just keep going. And some days there's ups and some days there's downs and we don't know exactly what that's going to be. And those challenges that we have can last for years, right? I know a lot of people that have struggled with their weight and then all of a sudden they made that change. They learned that one thing. They became that person that was capable of sustaining a more healthy weight. There's same can be said for people who are going to the gym. They didn't have that skill of being able to go to the gym consistently, and it might have been other commitments, right? But there's always a choice. We all have the same number of hours in the day, and sometimes we make that choice not to do something, and that's okay. That's not a big thing, right? I've been there. I understand being a parent and all of this other stuff. I make those choices too. I don't get to work out as frequently as I would like anymore. I don't get to, I'm not always as good with my diet as I should be. Let's put it that way. There's things that struggle because we have these other commitments. But even if we had all the time, all the money, all the resources, all those other things, we still have to become that person. And that's the thing to remember throughout everything you're doing is, who are you? What are your belief systems? What are the underlying things that drive your health? Are you somebody who succumbs to cravings? Or have you decided that you're a person that does not succumb to cravings? Are you that person that goes and buys, some of the junk food in the grocery store? Or are you the person that avoids that? Are you the person that, celebrates things with your family? Are you the one that says, hey, let's go celebrate this and let's go get ice cream, for example? Or are you the person that says, let's do something else as a reward for that? So there are a lot of ways that we can shift this perspective, but I see a lot of people that are saying, it must be nice. It must be good for you because, you've got that time, you've got that knowledge, you've got that information, but they don't see the thousands of hours that these people have put in the gym. They don't see the thousands of hours of studying. They don't see the thousands of dollars that they've spent on professionals and classes and all those other things. There's a lot of things that go into being healthy. It's not just one thing. And so anybody that tells you you need this one thing to be healthy, they're probably trying to sell you something, right? So look at your life. How can you shift your perspective? How can you say, what do I need to become rather than it must be nice to have something like that? Or if only I had this available, then I would be able to do that. Because when you do that, you're giving your power away. And we have to have you empowered if you're going to change your health. If you're going to change your life, you have to be the one driving it. Nobody else can do it for you. So I hope that this helps. As always, I appreciate your attention. I know that's your greatest resource, and I appreciate you spending some of that with me. I will catch you on next week's video.